What's up, party people? Welcome back to my channel. I wasn't sure if I was going to be ready to share this with everybody yet, but I haven't officially told the story of Autumn being born and how I felt at the time and just pretty much the entire story. So I thought I would open up to you guys today and pretty much just tell you the story. And hopefully I have healed enough in the last 11 years to be able to tell it without crying. So here we go. First, I'm going to start out by saying we did not have a prenatal diagnosis of Down syndrome before Autumn was born. So we didn't find out until the minute she was born. And so Autumn was born January 4th, 2007. And I was having complications because my fluid was low and her movement was like very little. She barely moved. So I had to be monitored like 5 times a week at the hospital, where they put all the monitor on me and they monitored her movement and they checked my fluid because my fluid was really low. And I was like on bed rest. So it was like super stressful. And I already had Andy, and Andy and Autumn were only 17 months apart. So I was taking care of Andy as well, and I was like anxiously ready for her to be born at this point because I was like tired of being pregnant. It's not that I was uncomfortable, I wasn't, and she was like such an easy pregnancy, but I just was ready to like have her. I would say that my pregnancy went as well as it could have, except for the low fluid and her not moving very much. And since I had Andy and I remember being pregnant with Andy, I remember Andy moved a lot. And I thought to myself, well, maybe it's just because she's a girl and girls don't move as much. And so I started to feel a little concerned, and I remember I wrote something, because this was back in the MySpace days. I wrote something on MySpace about it, about being concerned about her and just worried, and I just couldn't wait to meet her and that kind of thing. I did have a lot of morning sickness with her. I didn't actually throw up, but I just felt sick constantly and I could never eat anything, and I lost like 15 pounds and I looked emaciated. But other than that, I would say it was a pretty easy pregnancy. So I went into the doctor's office on January 4th and they told me that my fluid was extremely low, and my doctor came in and said, we're gonna admit you. We think you should have the baby today. Your fluid is extremely low and it's just dangerous. We think we should, induce labor. So I was like, okay. And I was a little nervous because I wasn't prepared. I didn't have my bag packed. I don't think we had a car seat. I don't think we had anything really prepared because I was like 36 and a half weeks. And so they came in and they're like, well, we could break your water or we do the C-section. And so I was having other complications. So I was like, you know what? I really didn't want to have major surgery and have a C-section. But at the same time, I was like, oh, you know what? If there's going to be other complications, and I'd just rather have the C-section. So they did the C-section, and I'm sitting on the table. And if you've had a C-section, it's really scary. And you're laying on the table and you feel like you're floating, and I feel like I was having an out-of-body experience. And then my husband came in and I could tell he's freaking out because he could see all my organs. Like, it's scary. A C-section is major motherfucking surgery. I don't think anybody tells you that, but it's scary. You can smell the skin burning when they're cauterizing it to open it. I mean, you can smell, burning skin. You just, So my husband's like over me, and I could tell he looks like he's about to pass out because it's scary seeing your wife on a table with her organs everywhere. So they take her out, and like she doesn't cry right away. And I think my husband is not really worried, but I've seen a million baby stories, okay? And I know the baby cries right away. They usually show you the baby over the curtain, and that's how it is. And I swear it felt like 15 minutes went by and they didn't show me her. They didn't tell me she was okay. I started to panic. Like I was like, something's wrong. My gut was telling me something was wrong. And they were like, trying to close me up, and the surgeon, they're trying to like get everything taken care of after the C-section. And I'm over here like, where's my baby? Where's my baby? What's going on? So finally, which friggin' felt like an eternity. It was probably only like 10 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. The baby doctor comes over, that whoever was there, I don't know. It wasn't the pediatrician that we had, but it was somebody else. And he's like, well, it looks like the baby has Downs. And I freaking swear to God, it felt like somebody had punched me as hard as you could possibly punch me right in the gut. And I didn't know what to do. I honestly felt like I was living a nightmare. Like I was like, this can't be real. This is a nightmare. Like I'm having a nightmare. This isn't happening. This is like one of those horrible pregnancy dreams you have, you know. This isn't reality. This isn't real. I'm like, pinch me, please, let me wake up. Like I don't want to, you know. And I remember like screaming to the nurse, like, why is this happening to me? This can't be my life. This isn't, I'm not the right kind of person that this should happen to. And she kept, you know, telling me, she's like, no, you are the person that this should happen to. Huh, I told you I wasn't gonna cry. And this nurse was so amazing. I remember when I had Joe, I went and talked to that nurse again to thank her, but she's like, you know, there's a reason she was born and you're gonna be a great mom to her. But at that moment, I felt like I was the last person in the whole freaking world that should have Autumn, you know? And then I think my husband, he told my sister, she was sitting in the waiting room waiting and she didn't even know what was going on or anything. And I'm sure he had a horrible look on his face. And this is what he told her. He goes, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or kill myself. That's what he told my sister. It was like, we were trying so hard to be positive, but it was so hard to accept it, you know, especially because we didn't know beforehand and all those things. I just felt like for the longest time, for the first 4 months, that this was a nightmare. And I know that's so mean, but I didn't know anything about Down syndrome. I didn't know anything about people with special needs. I didn't know anything about if she was gonna have health problems, if she was gonna cost a lot of money that we didn't have because we were young and we were, you know, we weren't like prepared for this, you know, we were young. I was only 25, you know, and this doesn't happen to people that are young. This happens to old people. That's what I thought at the time, you know. I'm like, ugh. When they did finally show me Autumn over the curtain, you know, like they put her over the curtain. Because I remember when the doctor told me, well, we think she has Downs. I said, well, can we see her? I want to see her. That was my first reaction until I started freaking out and crying and acting like a lunatic to the nurse. But they showed me her and I thought, oh my God, she's so cute. That was my first reaction. So I think that was like a little bit of hope, like when I did see her. And then when I went to recovery, I was shaking really bad and I didn't get to see her again until they wheeled me in to the NICU to see her again. And she was like, had so much crap attached to her, like an IV and all this other stuff. So I didn't really get to like really see her good like I did the first time, but she just looked so cute. And I didn't get to really hold her until like the second day when they brought me in with the wheelchair. And I didn't get to breastfeed. She was having a problem sucking, and we found out later on, like the third day, that she didn't have any health problems or birth defect or anything like that. So we were super happy about that. And I think by like the fourth day, she finally started drinking bottles, but it took her a while to figure out how to suction. Also, she had what's it called? She had to go under the lights because she had jaundice. So she had to go under the lights for like, I think it was 2 days in the little like incubator thing with the lights. And then, yeah, so that's it. I also forgot to mention that the Down Syndrome Association of Orange County was like so amazing. And like they had somebody come in from the Down Syndrome Association who had a daughter with Down syndrome who was 4 years old. And she like showed me pictures. She showed me a scrapbook. She was telling me about her daughter. She was telling me, this is what she told me word for word. She said, you know, Down syndrome is the Cadillac of special needs. I think that's what she said, something like that, or the Cadillac of disabilities. So, you know, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. And I kept thinking, is this my life now? Like, I'm a child. I'm a parent of a child with special needs. Like, that's gonna be my new title. That's gonna be who I am, and I'm just gonna have to accept it. And I remember thinking that in my head, like, over and over. I just kept telling myself, well, this is my new life. This is my new life. And I didn't get any choice. And this is what I have to deal with. And I just have to embrace it and run with it. And this is my new life. So we went home and Autumn never cried. Never cried. She didn't cry when she was hungry. She didn't cry when she was wet. She never cried, you guys. I'm not even exaggerating. And like the nurse told me, you're gonna have to wake her up and set an alarm to feed her because she seems like she's gonna be a really easy baby. And I was like, that's an understatement. Like, honestly, when she did finally cry, I don't know if she was like 4 months, I was relieved, like relieved she cried. And I know I'm not the only one this has happened to with parents with Down syndrome. I know that it's very typical and very common. I would say I was in a very, very, very deep depression. And I went to my doctor and I got a medication right away because I was already showing signs of postpartum depression, having horrible thoughts and all those things. And I'd say like at 4 months, I was starting to feel a little bit better. I joined the support group for the Down Syndrome Association. I started going to the meetings. I think they were once a week, and it really, really helped me because I got to talk to other parents of kids with Down syndrome that were my kids' age, and it helped me kind of realize everything I was feeling was normal, and feeling like I didn't have a choice, feeling like I didn't deserve it. I know that sounds so stupid, but that's how I felt at that time. I don't feel that way anymore, but when she first was born, I felt like it was so unfair. Here all these other parents were with their normal kids or typical kids, and here I was with the kid with Down syndrome that I was gonna have to take care of for the rest of my life, and I felt like pissed off. I felt all the emotions. And later on I found out that like you go through the stages of grief. Just like if you lose a child or if you lose a loved one, you go through all the stages of grief because you're grieving the child you didn't have. You're grieving the child you had made up in your head. And so I had to go through all those grieving stages of anger, of like all the stages of grief. And it took me a while, you guys. It took me a long, long time to like finally accept it. And I think the very first birthday that I didn't cry for her birthday was the year that I had finally accepted it. So it took me a while. Like, I don't even like to admit the birthday that I finally feel like I moved past it, because I'm not proud of that. And I'm not like, I think it just makes me feel bad. It took me that long to accept it. Of course, I love her to pieces. I don't want anyone to think I don't love my daughter. I love my daughter more than anything in the world. And I would do anything for her, but it's not easy. You know, it's not rainbows and butterflies every day. Like, sometimes it's really, really hard. But everybody reminds me that everybody has children that are hard. And it doesn't matter if they have a disability or not, you know. They're here to teach you things, you know, and that's true. I don't want people to think I'm telling this story to, like, make you feel sorry for me, because you really shouldn't feel sorry for me. I mean, I want you to understand how hard some parents have it and have compassion for them. That's really it. I don't want you to feel sorry for me, because I'm fine and I can handle it. And now I've become so much stronger because of all of this. And I don't want pity. And I don't think any other parent with special needs wants pity. They really, really don't. They just want compassion. They just want understanding. And if you don't understand something, ask a question. I think that's the biggest thing. Things I see for her future is I want her to have a job. I want her to have her own license. I love her to live in a group home. I want her to have a love life. Like, these are things I want for her. I don't know if they're gonna happen, but that's what I want. And I remember when she was born, I only had like negative thoughts, only negative thoughts. And I still have negative thoughts, but I would only think like about, oh, she's gonna get made fun of. Or, oh, she's never gonna get married. She's never gonna drive a car. She's never gonna graduate high school. I had all these negative thoughts, but now there's like so much opportunity for kids with special needs that who knows what the future brings. And I don't wanna live in that negative place anymore. I don't wanna have that negative mental cycle. Like, I want things for her, and I know that she'll get there, and I just have to be patient. But yeah. I know now that when new trials come, I just have to ask for help. I think that was the biggest struggle for me, is I'm a super independent person and I want to do things my way, but when you have a child with special needs, you do need to ask for help. And there's people that are experts. There's people that know, that have been down that road, and it's okay to ask for help. I would say that's the biggest lesson I've learned. Obviously, patience. Oh my God, I've learned so much patience. I've learned to always stay calm and not fly off the handle and not react. First, I have to be calm. That's a freaking huge one for me. Having Autumn has taught me to be completely compassionate to other parents. You have no idea what those parents are dealing with at home with their kiddos. You have no idea what they're doing to help their kids succeed. You only see a little behavior in Target, or you only see a little behavior at the preschool, or someone hitting so-and-so, or someone biting so-and-so, but you don't know the whole story. So don't judge. That's all I'm saying. You need to be compassionate to other parents. We're all doing our best. And I think that's huge. That's something that I am so proud that I've learned having Autumn. Another thing I've learned is my health is super important. And I am so proud of that. I'm so proud that I got my head out of my ass. I got sober. I started working out. I take care of myself. I have muscle. And that's all because of Autumn, you know? And she changed us all in a better way. My entire family. We're all better because of her. And even though she's a giant pain in my ass a lot of the time, she's taught me so much, more than I could ever teach her. And I know that's some stupid cliche shit that special needs parents say, but it's true. It is true. Another thing I've learned is appreciate the people around you. Appreciate your family, your friends, all the therapists, all the caregivers, all the doctors, all the people that help you with your child. Appreciate the fuck out of them. And I'm saying that because they're gonna work with your kiddo. They're gonna work with you. You want to make sure they feel appreciated, because if you feel appreciated, you're going to do a better job with your kiddo. So yeah, appreciate them. It's so important. And I think I have gotten better therapists, and I've gotten what I wanted because I did appreciate the people around me, and I did make them feel as though I really am happy they're working with my child, or you know what I mean? Like, it's so important. I think I've learned life is too short to sit around and wish things were different, because what's that gonna do? It's not gonna do anything. You just gotta be happy with where you're at, be happy with what you have, and work with what you have. And I think that's another thing that I've definitely learned. You work with what you got, and you make the best with what you got. I'm not gonna tell you it's easy. It's not even a tiny bit easy. Not even a tiny bit. It's extremely difficult, but you get better. You do get better at it, and it gets easier. I wouldn't say it gets easier. You just get better at it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. There's so much more to the story, and I'm sure you guys have so many more questions. And if you do, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I might do a whole nother video, like a part 2, because there's just so much to say about this. But I'm proud of myself because I barely cried. I got a little misty-eyed, but I didn't like full-on cry, because I feel like I really have moved past this. And God, I should. It's been 11 years. But I used to not even be able to tell her birth story or talk about it at all without full-on crying like a psycho lunatic with snot coming out everywhere. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Any comments or questions, you can leave it down below. And if you don't already, follow me on Instagram, FitMama. I hope you guys have a great night.